I join the Home Secretary in paying tribute to counter-terrorism policing and the security services for the work they do daily to keep us safe. And let me straight away put on record that we on this side of the House support the government's plans to place Iran into the enhanced tier of the FIRS regime, and we will also be supporting moves they wish to make to increase the powers around prescription and any other powers that are necessary to keep us safe. We will support those measures. The whole House should be in no doubt about the malign influence Iran spreads around the world. It is responsible for supporting Hamas, who perpetrated the sickening massacre on October the 7th, 2023. Iran takes Western hostages, including, of course, Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, held in squalid conditions for years. Iran supports the Houthis, who have attacked and tried to sink civilian merchant shipping in the Red Sea as part of their war against the Saudi-backed, internationally recognised government. In Ukraine, we see Iranian drones and military equipment being used by Putin to murder Ukrainians and further Russia's illegal invasion. And, of course, Iran threatens to acquire a nuclear weapon. Iran also persecutes its own people. Women are abused, imprisoned, and in some cases even killed for not adhering to the behaviour demanded by the Ayatollahs. 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was arrested and then killed by the Iranian religious police simply for wearing what she wanted. I'm sure every single member of this House will condemn that atrocity. People who are gay in Iran are persecuted and sometimes killed, and those who oppose the Iranian regime are brutally oppressed and often murdered. So we should be in no doubt about the threat the Iranian regime poses to its own people and to international peace. But the tentacles of the Iranian state now stretch onto our very own soil here in the United Kingdom. Iran International TV, an independent TV channel, had to temporarily locate to the US not long ago because its premises and people here were threatened by Iranian agents. Iranian dissidents on UK soil are threatened and harassed. And as the Home Secretary has set out, just 2 weeks ago, 8 Iranian nationals were arrested planning attacks on UK soil. Now, in opposition, the Home Secretary said that she would proscribe the IRGC. She said so a number of times, including from this very dispatch box on the 15th of April last year. The Home Secretary has now been in office for nearly a year. So my first question is this: why has she not yet done what she said she would do by proscribing the IRGC? The Home Secretary has said the Iranian ambassador has been summoned. Mr. Speaker, that is not an adequate response. Why have Iranian diplomats, including any suspected of supporting espionage activity, not been expelled? And what further steps can be taken to develop international sanctions against the Iranian regime? Now, Mr. Speaker, the Home Secretary confirmed that the 3 individuals charged over the weekend entered the UK illegally, including by small boat. As recently as March of this year, just a few weeks ago, I think it was on March the 6th, extremist Abu Wadi entered the UK by small boat. He had previously been pictured on social media wielding an AK-47, throwing pipe bombs and calling for the slaughter of Jews. This is the kind of illegal immigrant who is able to enter the country by small boat. Now, the Home Secretary talks about her new bill, which we debated a week ago today. But the truth is, it won't make very much difference. Confiscating mobile phones from illegal immigrants and slightly enhanced powers to monitor communications will not stop the crossings. The Border Security Commander has no actual powers other than to publish an annual report and set some strategic objectives. I don't think people smugglers are going to worry too much about that. What will stop the crossings is a proper deterrent, so all those who arrive, not some, all those who arrive are removed. Then they will not bother to attempt the crossing in the first place. This deterrent approach worked in Australia about 10 years ago. So the Home Secretary must by now be regretting cancelling the Rwanda deterrent before it even started. Crossings, since she became Home Secretary, are up by 30% year on year. and 2025 so far has been the worst in history. Does she finally agree it is time to follow other countries and establish a proper removals deterrent applying to all those who arrive illegally by small boat? It's time to bring back Rwanda. In their first 6 months in office, the government have not returned a single Iranian to Iran, not one, including Iranian criminals. Does the Home Secretary agree it is now time to repeal the Human Rights Act for immigration matters so criminals and other dangerous people can be more easily removed from the UK and cannot any longer persuade UK judges to allow them to stay here on ever more tenuous human rights grounds? The only way to protect our borders and ensure security is to remove all illegal immigrants as soon as they arrive, and I hope she urgently adopts that policy.
Home Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I would just say to the Shadow Home Secretary, he was an immigration minister when the number of small boat crossings soared, when net migration soared. On his watch, controls were reduced. Under his party, we saw returns plummet. This government is clear that the rules need to be respected and enforced, and that is why this government is introducing counter-terrorism-style powers to strengthen our border security, something that his party shockingly has repeatedly voted against. He refers still to his Rwanda scheme that cost £700 million and sent 4 volunteers, just 4 volunteers in the 2 years that it was operational, sent 4 volunteers to Rwanda. And frankly, when it comes to our national security, border security is a part of our national security. And I'm sorry that he is not sufficiently taking seriously the national security threats that we face. I supported the work that his government did on the bringing in the National Security Act. But as he will know, I repeatedly warned that the powers were not strong enough to be able to use legislation designed for terrorism to be able to prescribe state-backed organisations. We did repeatedly call on his government, if they were not able to prescribe the IRGC, we called on them to strengthen and amend the powers to be able to do so under national security provisions. In fact, we even put forward an amendment to the National Security Act in the last Parliament, and his party voted against it. So I am glad that he now says he will support our measures to strengthen our national security and to bring forward stronger prescribing powers so that they can be used against all kinds of state-backed organisations or state organisations that might attempt to do us harm. Because our national security is the first duty of any government, and that is why this government will continue to take ever stronger action to pursue issues around criminality, issues around extremist or terrorist threats, and issues around border threats and issues around national security threats. That is how we keep our communities safe.